The Monday, June 15th, 2026 meeting of the Louisa County Board of Supervisors to order.
Get it.
We do not have closed session agenda tonight, do we?
Yes, you do. Just a moment. I thought it was down here and printed. If you will hold on.
Can you hold, we're opening the
Just-
meeting, give me 2 minutes.
Dramatic pause. We have it. Mr. Chairman, you need a motion that we convene in closed session pursuant to the following subsections of Virginia Code 223711. In accordance with that section, discussion or consideration of the acquisition of real property for a public purpose or discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body. And in accordance with 223711A8, in consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel. And the first section was 2.23711A3.
So moved.
You moved in a second that we go into closed session. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We're in closed session.
Mr. Chairman, I move we go back into open session.
Been properly moved and seconded that we go back into open session. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
I'm sorry. I was talking and checking.
Okay, motion passes unanimously. I will now poll members to certify that to the best of your knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act and as identified in the motion for which the closed meeting was convened were discussed and considered by the board. If any member believes that the board varied from the purposes stated for the closed meeting, please state so and the reason prior to casting a vote. Mr. McCotter?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Barlow?
Yes.
Mr. Barnes?
Yes.
Mr. Woodward?
Yes.
All right, we're back into open session. This is the Monday, June 15th, 2026 meeting of the Louisa County Board of Supervisors. I'd like to welcome those of you that are in attendance here in the public meeting room and those that are joining us online. We will start this evening's meeting, as we always do, with the invocation by Mr. McCotter tonight and the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'd like to join us, please stand.
Let's pray. Loving God, as we begin this meeting, I thank you for your presence with us. I ask you for patience, for understanding and a compassion in our deliberations. Infuse us with your Holy Spirit and righteous focus, so that our work may be both effective and supportive of those we serve while glorifying you. In your Son's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item would be the adoption of the agenda.
Second.
Properly moved and second that we adopt the agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next would be the approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
And properly moved and seconded that we approve the minutes. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is the approval of the bills.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that we approve the bills. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is public comment period. I don't have any cards. Is there anyone that would wish to address the board tonight on any subject that's not a public hearing? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to information and discussion items. Next is presentation is VDOT's quarterly update presented by Craig Simpson, our new resident engineer. Welcome, Mr. Simpson.
And Mr. Chairman, while Mr. Simpson is making his way up, I would note that your monthly report is in your board packet on page 80 while he's making his remarks.
Thank you.
Good evening, Board, Chairman. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Craig Simpson. I'm a new Louisa resident engineer. Most previously, I was working out of our Fredericksburg District office in the traffic engineering section as the assistant district traffic engineer for. I also worked in the Warrenton residency as the Louisa resident engineer. I'm quickly getting up to speed on projects within the Louisa residency. Look forward to continuing and building a strong working relationship. So I'll jump into the quarterly report. For rural rustics, we have 645 Poplar Avenue. Currently, the environmental review is underway. Our crews have been busy with pothole patching, with over 2,000 holes being repaired. For ditching, over 100 linear feet have been cleaned. Shoulder repair, approximately 5.2 miles of shoulders have been repaired. For the pavement schedule for this year, we have surface treatment on Route 614, 1240, 618, and 784. For plant mix, we have Route 601, 669, Route 22, and Route 33. For our contractor services, they've been performing ditch work on Route 635, Route 656, and Route 648. Our contracting services have also been doing asphalt patching on 612, 622, 601, 1248, 613, and 1241. Our contract right-of-way mowing That just wrapped up last week. Also, we had pipe replacements on Route 605 and Route 522. For our land use team, they've completed 7 site plans. 66 utility permits have been reviewed. Moving on to projects, the Hamilton Road Bridge, that is gearing up to start this week. Is anticipated to be completed later this year, fall. I understand there's a section of the bridge abutment that'll be preserved and transferred to the county. 652 Kentucky Springs and Haley Drive on the temporary signal. I spoke with our district traffic engineer this morning, and the signal warrant has been approved. He's finalizing his review package with the details for the signal phasing and the details of that signal plan. So as soon as I hear back, I'll be following back up. The Route 33 permit project, the detour was put into place today for a large box culvert replacement and associated stream diversion. The anticipated completion is 7/31. Just wanted to clarify, this is not a VDOT project. This is a permitted project, and the work is being performed in accordance to the site plan and approved traffic management plan. All parties are highly motivated to get this work done this summer while school's out. So all the work will be completed, prior to school going back. Getting up to speed fast in the details of projects here in Louisa. Look forward to continuing the working relationship and building that strong communication moving forward. I recognize there were some hiccups with this particular project with some of the communication and coordination. But I just moving forward, I want to focus on the future and look for ways to improve our coordination with the county. So with that, those are the main items I had on the update. If the board has any questions.
Mr. Williams?
I have 2 questions. The 33 that you're redoing with the plant mix, where is that at? What section of 33? He may not know, Mr.
The
Blue.
details of
Yeah,
that currently.
he's coming to save you. Because you knew. It's okay. I just didn't realize 33 was, you know what section that is? Right, okay, in front of school. And then, what is the county going to do with the piece of bridge abutment from Hamilton Bridge?
They talked to us about that during the meetings, the stakeholder meetings for the bridge, and we've talked about a few options. It's not a big piece. We had talked about putting a small concrete pad down there and just setting it on the pad and putting a good coat of paint on it and having it there if you all want to do it, but we need to get pricing before that's finalized.
Is it historic?
It's kind of a memorialized.
Hysterical? Is
It's
it historical?
historic.
Which
It
one
is
is it?
historic. It's not hysterical.
Piece of concrete? A piece of steel? What is it?
Steel.
So they're just gonna cut the end off the piece of the steel and stick it there as a memorial
If the
for a
board would
bridge
like,
we're going to
sir.
replace.
It'll be an option for you.
That seems ridiculous. I'm sorry. That's not you. I just was curious what it was. Now I understand. Thank you.
Well, can I just answer that for you? This came out of many talks of discussions and working with the historic district in Green Springs and memorializing the fact that this was a historic bridge. This bridge has been there for a very long time, so it was a small abutment that they wanted to just memorialize the histories, because there's a lot of walkers and a lot of people that go down to that bridge, walk that road, that they would know the history of that bridge. So it was an offer that was an olive branch that was given out to the historic Green Springs, and is
We deliver to
something
them?
that we need to discuss in the future about what we're gonna do with it. So,
Yes, sir.
You had mentioned, and I rode through yesterday, so I see 601 is is currently being worked on to be paved. Do you know what the anticipated finish date is on that?
For 601 for the paving schedule. I believe they're currently working on that, but I can follow back up on a.
They are
Where
working.
they start on your end?
No, they started on the far
Okay,
end.
because I come through that and it's all paved. It's not lined, but it's paved down there. Both lanes.
From,
Looks good.
I forget the name of the creek, from the creek where they repaired the bridge a couple of years ago, going south to 522, it's patchwork, but it's not been paved like the rest of it.
They're going to overlay it though, right?
Yeah,
That-
601, correct.
Whole thing's getting overlaid from 33 to 522?
That is my understanding, but I can confirm with
Is that right,
exact
Mr.
terminology.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. Was
It's
that?
currently not on the 2-week look ahead, but we'll follow up once it's
Okay.
on there.
They're doing a nice job. The 33 end looks really nice.
Certainly an improvement.
Mr. Byers.
Yes, I'm sorry. Welcome to Louisa,
I appreciate it.
and you might not say that later on as you keep coming, but tonight I'd like to welcome you. Your predecessor before he left, and I was working on one, and he said he put a job order in right there on 208, the shoulder coming off the 208, for to get that fixed. You know what I'm talking about? I just want to make sure that it didn't get lost in the paperwork on his way out. Right there at Ferncliff. You know what I'm talking about, right? All right, just make sure. He gave me a start when he thought he was going to start. This was a month ago. He thought about it. I don't know, but can somebody call me, email me or something, let me know when that project would start? Just to make it clear to the board, when you come off of 64, it looks like it's a shoulder for people. You see people always pulling off right there. Well, what it is that the people that live there in that area don't want people using that because people been getting out of their cars, doing certain things in that area and things of that nature, and right at their house. So we talked about how he could correct that, okay?
Okay. Yeah, I'll confirm and follow up.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Woodward.
Yes. Ms. Simpson, welcome to Louisa.
I appreciate it.
We're looking forward to working with you. First, I want to say thanks for VDOT or the contractor coming out and fixing different sections of Oakland Road 613. My understanding is that the contract was let out not just to patch it, but also to come back and pave over it, which I don't think the contractor is in paving quite yet in the county. So sometime this summer that should be paved. That's what Mr. Thornton had told me anyway before he left. And also, Mr. Thornton had started a road, as I recall, it's called the Road Study Committee.
Okay.
I think Mr. Gordon sat in on some of those meetings with us. I think hopefully you can continue that, like the lady that's the head of the school bus transportation department for the county, the town manager of Town of Louisa manager was there. I believe Town of Mineral had a representative. Mr. Kuhn and myself were from the county. I think we were making some really good progress, and it was to look at different sections of road in the county that we feel like needed to have some type of study done.
Okay.
And so he could take that forward for us. So if you could continue that committee, I think that would be a worthwhile project.
Okay, that sounds good.
Thank you. And the Route 33 thing, maybe that's a good thing it happened that way, because you know things can't do anything but get better, right?
Yeah, let's focus on the future and look for ways to improve
Yeah,
going forward.
okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Me. Welcome to Louisa
Thank
County, as everyone else has said. You got a pen? Are you ready?
I got a pen.
I got a list. No. I'm going to start with the Diamond, the interchange at Zion's Crossroads. That's a gateway into our community. It's the location that people are coming off 64 every day, all times. And it's been looking ragged, and I've been getting complaints on it. They have mowed it some, but the weeds on the side are really tall. They've kind of strip mowed it, and there's some weeds. And I have some pictures to show you. If you'd like to see them, I can send them to you. And there's a lot of, right along the curb, a lot of sand and debris, probably from the winter and everything along that diamond. But if we could just maintain that and keep that neat and tidy looking, that would go a long way with a lot of residents that I'm getting complaints on. And it is, like I said, a gateway to our community, and it's the first look that people get as they pop off the interstate at Zion's. And I also want to thank you. I see you have here in traffic studies and special requests, Route 15, the guardrail request on the left side. I went past there the other day, and there's a beautiful shiny guardrail there. I love it. And it makes me as a driver feel a lot safer all these years. You just get off the curb and you're rolling down into Never Never Land. So thank you for getting that guardrail up. Also, right before Scott left, I had talked to him about Zion Road. I was getting a lot of complaints from residents that live in Mountain Brook and Forest View when they are heading from 615 west towards Charlottesville on Zion Road, the trucks coming in and out of Spring Creek, there's a lot of construction going on at Spring Creek, and that road is heavily trafficked by big dump trucks, and it has been tearing up very easily. They've gotten there, they've patched it, that road's shared with Flavanna County. I spoke to one of their Board of Supervisors to get that addressed to, and their VDOT side, but if you could just give a little extra attention to that road, because it was like four-wheeling at one point, coming out of winter, I get it, but it stayed like that for a while. They have fixed the western end of it, so I appreciate that, but it is coming from the trucks, the dump trucks coming in and out of Spring Creek. It's pretty heavily traveled with truck traffic. And the Hamilton Road Bridge, is that the estimate date here, September 15th, under construction? Is that for that bridge? When do you guys anticipate the conclusion of the Hamilton Road
I'm
Bridge?
talking to our bridge crews, it's anticipated later this fall.
Later this fall?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, that's what Scott had told me. I just wanted to make sure we were still on track with that. Has it actually been pulled? I haven't driven down there here
No,
the
not
last
yet.
little
This
while.
week, our bridge crews were on site.
Okay,
I'm kind of getting geared up for it.
okay. Sounds good. I get a lot of calls and people who want to know. It's a little teeny dirt road in our county, or gravel road, but a lot of people like walking it and being down there around it, so. And I think that's it for me. Just maintaining Zion's Crossroads
Okay.
and the interchange. So,
Mr. McConnell?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Simpson, welcome to Louisa. Mr. Gordon, always good to have you with us. Thank you for the backup. I don't know whether it was a parting gift from Scott or what, but I wanted to thank you all for getting parts of Moody Town Road patched. That was really timely, and I believe it was a year early, because I think Mr. Thornton told me it was going to be in 2027 when the funds were available to do that. I would like to note that working together with county staff is probably the only way forward.
Yep.
And once you communicate with us effectively, that is going to help us serve our constituents to the best of all of our abilities. So communication is going to be great moving forward between all of us. I'm looking forward to that. Cuckoo residents are happy to hear about this light that we're talking about at Kentucky Springs and Haley. That's been a spot of a lot of complaints, and I would like to know: is there a way to inform the public about the oversized loads coming down Kentucky Springs? Is there any way they can see when those are scheduled? So, because they do block traffic, especially on Kentucky Springs Road, and we've had some issues with that, and I had some constituents asking me about that, complaining mostly. And I don't know. That's not really a county issue, but it's my job to relay that to you. If there's any way we can find out when those extra wide loads, I think they're generators coming down to the Lake Anna Technology Campus, I know my constituents would appreciate that. Also looking at the road to entrance or gate O, there's a blistering there. So that's something that I think AWS is responsible for. I know you guys probably seen that. We don't want it to get any worse. Bridge painting on Mill Pond Bridge. I don't know how you turned that around so fast. It was vandalized, and then next week y'all had people painting it. So good work.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that was really good. We don't want that kind of vandalization lasting for more than a couple, 3 days here. I had a lot of questions about that. It's not good for our community, so well done. That concludes my questions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, Mr. Simpson, I'm going to echo the welcome to Louisa part. I told you that today on the phone when we chatted. I do have several questions and comments, and I'll preface what I said to you on the phone today. All your predecessors, since I've been on the board, Mr. Saunders and Mr. Thornton, I've had a great relationship with them, and look forward to having a great relationship with you. I mean, one of the most common calls, at least that I get from my constituents, is something to do with the roads, a tree down, a ditch clogged, something. So we'll be in communication a lot, and I look forward to that. And I preface that by saying, because I'm going to ask you some hard questions here in a minute, but I'll start with an easy one. Is there a way over the next 45 days with the detour on Route 33, is there a way that VDOT could readjust the timing on the light at Sheets and the light at 33 and, what is that, 208, to give traffic more time to move through there so that we can get the buildup out of the town of Louisa. Is that and I know typically you guys probably have to study this and send it to traffic engineering and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You don't have time to do that. I mean, that just seems like a pretty easy, simple fix if there's not some safety reason that we can't do that. I drove through the town 3 times today, and each time there was heavier backups than normal, and it was because people can't go down 33 now. They're going straight through on 520 or 208 down to 522.
Yeah, I'll reach out to our traffic engineering group tomorrow and see what they can do about the signal timing.
Okay, because if they could do that and they could do it like, 2 days from now, it would probably help ease a lot of people's heartburn as we go through this detour over the next 45 days. Second thing is, and we mentioned it today, I just want to mention it in public so that we have it on the public record, is over on Route 29 South at the Culpeper exit for Route 3 and 522. That's a major route to Lake Anna. And on 95 and on 64, there is signage that says this exit to go to Lake Anna. There's no signage there, and I know that people miss that from time to time. So that would be, and I have talked to Ms. Saunders about that, and I've talked to Ms. Storton about that, and this is giving you an opportunity to be a hero your first month or so here to get it here, So anyway, so if we could look at those two things, but I do want to address, and I have to address. The Route 33 closure, and I appreciate you mentioning it today, and I think I think the biggest problem here was lack of communication from the applicant, lack of communication from VDOT. The county found out last Monday the exact closure date on that was June the 8th. We found it out the same way I found it out, which is the entire length of that closure is in the district that I represent. At about 3 o'clock, from 6 o'clock, my phone blew up. People were coming home. They saw the signs. What's going on? I was in a position, I don't know. I think I might know, but I got to check. And frankly, and I'm not here to place blame. I want to figure out how we can fix any issue like this moving forward. I don't think it serves any of us well to go, it's their fault, it's their fault, it's their fault. And I purposely didn't point at you. But at the end of the day, we're responsible as a county government and as elected officials to our constituents. VDOT's responsible, in my opinion, to the people that use the roads. There just seemed to be a lot of distancing from this whole issue from VDOT's standpoint. I don't think that's helpful. I really don't think that's helpful. I mean, I have an email here, and I'll give you a perfect example. Last Wednesday when we were all on a conference call, again, I don't have a whole lot of authority as chairman of the board, but I do have enough to say when a press release is supposed to go out, that's when we put a press release out. And I believe that call was at 1 o'clock, and we very clearly at the beginning said, we want a press release that goes out at 3 o'clock today, because we didn't have maps. We didn't have maps that had been presented to the constituents, to the motorists, to that sort of thing. And we all agreed that was a good idea. And a map was provided, a usable map, a map was provided. And we talked about it going out at 3 o'clock. And I'm going to swear here in a minute, and I'm going to apologize. No, I'm not. I would change it. I swore once this year. I've done it enough. So our communications director got the press release ready, had the map in it, had the verbiage, sent it out for approval, and at 4 o'clock, we get an email back from VDOT that says, well, we don't like this, we don't like this, we don't like this. We already sent it out. We sent it out at 3 o'clock. And I replied all. I'm going to change the word. I said, well, I don't give a darn what VDOT says at this point. Send it out. Communicate with people. So the lack, in my opinion, from my seat, the lack of urgency, the lack of responsiveness we need to do better. If you don't count 64, you have 522, 208, 22, 33, and Route 20. That'd be the 5 major roads in this county. I think you'd probably agree with that, right? And with 7 days' notice, one of those major roads is being shut down. And I think the county administration knew, I have the timeline here, we all knew that that road was going to be shut down at some point during the summer. We wanted to make sure that it wasn't during school. But nobody knew that it was going to be on June the 15th until June the 8th. And the ability not to communicate sooner with our citizens created additional heartburn that shouldn't have been created. And that's, I think we all find that unacceptable. And I think we've all, and you made a commitment tonight, and I appreciate that. You made a commitment to me on the phone. I think we all need to strive to do better for our citizens. I think they deserve that. You know, that, I don't know how long that additional detour is, but it's not 2 minutes. I know that. It's not 2 minutes for people when they come around through there. And we asked you a lot of questions, and VDOT gave a lot of answers to these questions. I'm not going to go over all of them. But I do want to address one, because I think the answer is wrong. The question was, given that the county first became aware of the final start date and 6-week duration when variable message boards were installed, is that consistent with VDOT's intended coordination and communication process for significant road closure? And there's several answers here. But here's the part that I've seen the email chain. It says, during the regularly scheduled Louisa County meeting on April the 2nd, 2026, the details of the road closure and detour were presented and discussed, and the county did not express opposition to the proposed closure timeframe. The timeline that was discussed in that meeting, according to everybody that was in that meeting and emails I've seen, were in the summertime, not the specific dates. And that's where we have an issue with that, not those specific dates. And you know, our staff works really hard at doing a job to get this information out to the people and making sure that we can give people enough time to prepare. So I think that was a little bit of a disingenuous answer. I think our staff would have really liked, I know I would have really liked 2 to 3 weeks' notice. I know this came together quickly. I appreciate the fact that the contractor's trying to make sure that it doesn't happen during the school year, because that would be a whole nother conversation if that happened. But it just, to sum this up, it was bothersome to me that VDOT, even today, I read a lot of local publications. One of the local media outlets had a story on this yesterday. I didn't get to read the thing till today. I saw today that they'd made an edit, that VDOT had reached out and said, you know, change this and change this. So it still looks like you're trying to distance yourself from the issue. I get some of the specifics weren't yours. It's not a VDOT project. You said that. But if we're going to be partners, we either stand together or we fall together. And, you know, I'm not trying to beat you up. I'm an honest guy. I'm not happy about it. My constituents aren't happy about it. I was having people call me clear to this weekend, even though we'd put the information out last Wednesday, that lived there. They said, can I get in and out of my house? I mean, am I stuck for a month and a half? They shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't have those questions. So from this side of the table, we want to be a partner. We want to work with you. We want to get those messages out. We just need a willing partner on the other side. And, you know, I think it's just my responsibility to tell you that. So.
I definitely appreciate that. And I think moving forward, you know, focus on that additional communication and see if we can put some procedures and practices in place to make sure something like this doesn't happen again. And
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Yes, sir.
When did you get here?
Approximately like 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
I've been
so-
still kind of going back and forth between Fredericksburg and
I'm going
Louisa.
to give you a bye on this. We're not happy. I think you sense that. And we're not happy because our constituents aren't happy. And I feel like you inherited this here at the last minute, and I think that's a fair assessment. So I think the expectation going forward is communicate with us and the staff so we can talk to the citizens and just own it if and when you mess up. That's all. That's all we ask. We're not perfect. We make mistakes up here, and we're glad you're here. We're looking forward to having you here. And And I think you'll find this a relatively friendly place as long as we're open and honest with the questions and answers that come out. So, thank you for what you do.
All right, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right, we'll move on to supervisor comments. Do we have any supervisor comments this evening?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Being that I sent an email out to board members just expressing this fall when we meet with our legislators, one of the issues that's been coming up, and I don't know if some of you all seen this survey, but I got a questionnaire from ODU University, some professor doing a survey on the Dillon rule and how elected officials felt about the Dillon rule. And I checked what I liked and what I didn't like. But then, had to make a long story short, I'm concerned, as I told you before, most people in their lifetime, they work, their goal is to, prior to retirement, is paying their home off. That's their dream. That's what they work to do. They want to have a house paid for when they retire. And believe me, my house gets assessed like anybody else, and I'm not skulking about the assessments. But what I am concerned about, you worked all your life, you pay for your house, and that the local government can't do anything about that. And I watch people that have paid for their homes are getting to the point where their tax assessments is almost becoming a mortgage. And you shouldn't have to get that way when you get older and you've done what you need to do in life. Be worried that your assessments is such that you end up paying a mortgage. If we could allow by law to give older citizens, come up with criteria, you lived in Louisiana County 20, 25 years or whatever, once you get to a certain stage that could freeze your assessment. I'm not saying not paying, but we could freeze it. Because a lot of people, when they get older, they're not looking to sell their homes. They're looking to live in their homes throughout their life. And if we could, I know the Dillon rule doesn't allow us to do those kind of changes, but if we could do something like that, because I'm concerned with a lot of older people that are on fixed income, that their assessments will run them out their homes. Thank you.
Maybe that would be an issue for our legislative agenda this fall.
Yeah.
Anybody else? You know, I did want to address something. I don't know why after 9 years I haven't completely cut all ties to social media, but I haven't. But, you know, we're in a drought. Louisiana County's in a drought, as is probably 80% of Virginia and 60% of the country. And just last week, the Louisiana County Water Authority issued some water restrictions for the Zion's Crossroad Wells service area and for the Lake Anna Wells service area, which is much, much smaller. And I've seen a lot of comments that those water restrictions were due to the data centers that are being built in the county, which is interesting. They're being built in the county. They're not built here yet. One is functional at the Lake Anna campus, and it's not served yet by the Water Authority. And I just wanted to clear up that misconception. The water restrictions were put in place on the two service areas that are served by the ultra deep wells that the county has. And they're under a little bit of strain as they get whenever we have a lack of rain or a drought. And everybody, whether you're a residential user or a commercial user, when those water restrictions are put in place, everybody's under those same water restrictions and has to follow those guidelines. But it's not because of data centers that haven't been built yet in this county that's causing those water restrictions. But I would point out that when those two campuses that AWS is building come online, they're going to get water from Northeast Creek Reservoir. And Northeast Creek Reservoir system is not subject to those restrictions because we don't have an issue with the water levels at Northeast Creek. And I did, well, we've had some meetings with the Water Authority, and I wanted to point out that there's a large commercial company in the county that has been using a tremendous amount of water, far over the amount that they originally purchased. In February, they used 1.2 million gallons for the month. In March, they used 795,000 gallons. In April, they used 1.8 million gallons. And in May, they used 2.6 million gallons. Now, there's two things I want to address about that water coming out of Northeast Creek Reservoir. Number one, they're getting back to where they're supposed to be, which is somewhere around 540,000 gallons per month. There was an anomaly there, and they're getting back. But the bigger issue that I wanted to say is while this major amount of water was being used out of Northeast Creek, it did not have a negative impact on Northeast Creek. So I want people to understand the facts of this water restriction. I also want them to understand that Northeast Creek Reservoir is in fine shape. It's in shape to be able to supply the water that the town of Louisa, the town of Mineral needs. And when we get these data centers up and running, they'll be able to supply the water for the data centers. The data centers don't use water every day from Northeast Creek. They use water when the ambient air temperature is over 88%. I see a lot of people panicked over that. Nobody's well is going dry because these data centers are being built because they're not taking water after the one well comes offline at Lake Anna. They're not taking water from wells. So what I would say is understand the reasoning behind it. Understand that Northeast Creek's water supply is not in a bad position. It's not under water restrictions. But also understand that whenever any type of water restriction would go in place, everybody's subject to the same rules. So I just wanted to make that clear. I wanted to put people's mind at ease that that is not an issue right now. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that we'll see, this may be in your report, Mr. Goodwin, and I don't want to steal your thunder, but
Quite all right, sir.
you're going to see the county and the Planning Commission send a joint letter to PJM asking a lot of questions about Valley Link, about the new proposed routes, making it very clear we're still opposed. We don't think this is good for the county. We don't think it's good for Central Virginia. We don't think it's the right solution. We're still continuing to do that on a regional basis. We will also be holding another meeting of the group of 7 counties, 8?
8 or 9, right?
8, yeah. Well, we have one that doesn't seem to participate, so I think it's 8. 8 counties will be holding another regional summit to continue to plan collaboratively, to continue to oppose this project on a regional basis. I think you're going to see some other counties come in with a significant amount of funding for that continued legal defense. And I know Mrs. C's here, and thank you for your leadership from a grassroots effort on that. So we're going to continue to work on that. We're going to continue to lead the effort and work collaboratively with our neighbors. And so that was an awfully long supervisor comment. but
Chair.
we'll move past
Mr.
it.
Chairman?
Yes.
I have one question about your supervisor comment, but I also just had a short thing that I wanted to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
My question is, I do believe in a meeting we had with the Water Authority, they had stated, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, that at any time, if we ever had an issue with the reservoir, that the priority always goes to residents, that the state would never allow us to make a data center a priority for water. The priority goes to residential water at all times.
Yeah, health and safety of our citizens and our residents is always the priority of the health.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Can I expand a little bit? Do
Sure.
you mind if I do that on
No,
the water talk?
no.
I think we all got emails, texts, whatever they were, as versus a chair who, uses social media. I do not. So the only time I hear about these things is somebody calls or sends me an email. So we got these emails about a 1998 study that apparently the board had ordered. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Concerning the aquifer in Louisa County. So I don't know anything about that. I think probably, there's probably nobody in this room that knows anything about that report. Somebody happened to be looking through old county stuff and saw it. I think we're going to find out about it. I believe staff is checking on that. But I just want to make clear to people, when you talk about the aquifer, what draws off the aquifer is wells. And I'm no expert on this, but when you drill a well, you drill it in the ground. If you get water, you're in an aquifer. The Northeast Creek Reservoir is not a part of the aquifer. It gets its water from surface water that runs off into it. That's what that was built for. It was built for stormwater runoff that Louisa County turned into a water reservoir. So I just want to make sure people are clear on that. And Mr. Chair, something that you said 88%. It's 88 degrees. I know what you meant.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
thank you.
So Amazon does not use any water to cool until it reaches 88 degrees ambient outside temperature. And this is all in the DEQ packet that Mr. Goodwin had in our last board meeting packet. So it's some really interesting information in there for people to read. Actually, we, for me at least, for the first time saw it in black and white in print, what those situations are. But their usage continues to get to be less as things improve. So I just wanted to add on to that. Thank you.
Did you? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I did. I had a few things that I just wanted to say, but I just wanted to address the 1998 water study that you were saying. I found that fascinating, and I do not know what's in that report. None of us do, as you said. I believe, I would not be surprised if that report comes back and it is addressing the aquifer, what was being built in that time period, Spring Creek, what was up with the wells, at the deep water wells that we talked about at Spring Creek. There was a lot of worry and concerns whether Spring Creek and the wells from the historic Green Springs at that time. My husband and I were building a home. I remember being very involved in reading the Central Virginian and trying to stay on top of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if that aquifer and that water report comes back about the western end of our county. We'll have to see. We don't know. It'll be interesting to find out some more information on it. But just real briefly, I've attended some really fabulous events in the county over in the last 2 weeks since we had our last meeting. We had the Chamber Business Person of the Year at Spring Creek. That was a phenomenal event. I think it was one of the best banquets that they've had. Kudos to the Chamber of Commerce and to Tracy for putting it on and doing a phenomenal job. And congratulations to Bethel Builders, Brews, and Farms, Lori Nichols, and congratulations to her on being Business Person of the Year. That was a great event. I'm also very excited, you touched on this at the last meeting maybe, that you had the opportunity, or you posted about it, to tour the Flavanna Louisa Housing Foundation project that we got off the ground. And then I toured it on Thursday, and it is phenomenal. I did a write-up on my Facebook page about it. It's an amazing project. We have the first 4 buildings homes up and built, and all kudos to the Housing Foundation, to the private community donors, who one of the homes was completely funded by private donations from the community. So thank you for stepping up and donating to the Housing Foundation. This is a very worthy cause in our community. The Sunset Market, kudos goes to Mayor Michaels for, I always want to call you by your first name because I always have to stumble over that. Kudos to you. That was a wonderful market that we had and brought a lot of community people together, and it was hot, but it was great, and I look forward to future ones. So thank you for all you're doing to keep the town alive and vibrant, and bringing businesses in and then bringing the people in so the businesses can make a profit and stay.
Mr. McConnell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 30 seconds or less. June 20th, notable because it's right around the Father's Day time, but it's also 2 big events. Shameless promotion as a tourism ambassador for Louisa County. We have the Lake and a Business Partnership Car Show down in Cuckoo District at Pleasance Landing, as well as the let me back up. That will directly benefit the scholarship fund, the Lake Inna Business Partnership Young Leaders Scholarship Fund. Money raised from that event goes to 3 scholarships, $2,000 apiece. Louisa, Orange, Spotsy. Also on that date is the African American Heritage Festival, which will be held at Moss Knuckles. I've attended that in the past and found it to be a fun event.
I think Mr. Goodwin and I will be there bright and early parking cars.
Parking
Yes,
cars.
indeed.
Yes.
Indeed. So, all right, we'll move on to committee reports. Do we have any committee reports? I know we have no board appointments. County administrators report.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. I would be remiss if I didn't draw attention to the new format for the county administrator's report. Our amazing Miss Stanley took it upon herself to reformat my report. I think the layout is much better. There's a clearer explanation of what's included in each section of my report. So, Alex, I'm very grateful to you for your work on that, and board members and members of the public, I hope it's helpful to you. We are, as I'm sure you are, monitoring the state budget very carefully. The House has proposed a version for the Senate's consideration. I believe the Senate isn't going to consider that until later this week or early next, but we're all kind of watching that to see if there's going to be impacts locally across the state on all things financials. So more to come on that for sure. Do want to draw your attention, we've done some work out at Holly Grove Fire Station, specifically with Mr. Barlow's help, getting a tower up there, which is improved radio coverage now that that's up and operational in the southeast end of the county. Done some paving work out there as well. They've got a banquet coming up out there on the 12th of July, and we'll have a ribbon cutting at 3 p.m. on the tower just to commemorate that and a better service.
You're going to be way up through the top, clear to the top?
That's where it's going to be,
gonna
all the way
climb
up to the
Very
top.
good. I'll be there. I wasn't going to come, but I'm coming now to see if it's
Run
up.
me up on the ladder truck.
Are they
Absolutely.
really?
And I had a couple other things, but you all have hit them in supervisor comments, certainly Valley Link and some other things. So do make sure, got some great 4th of July activities in the town and beyond out in the county. So do make sure you attend and encourage your constituents to do the same. So thank you very much. That concludes my prepared remarks.
Speaking, just a question, actually it's directed to Mr. McConnell because he would probably know. When is the Lake Anna fireworks? Do you know, Mr. McConnell?
July 4th,
Or is it on the 4th this year?
9:30, yep, Saturday evening.
Perfect. All right. All right, now we'll move on. Do we have 5 public? Yes, sir.
To follow up on Mr. Goodman's comments about the ribbon cutting and what have you, we're looking at having that at 3 o'clock. And the Holly Grove Rescue Banquet is at 4 o'clock, where they install offices and all that kind of stuff. And it would be, I think, they would love to have everybody that wants to come. It would be helpful to know if you're planning to come.
What's the date?
12th of July.
12, yeah, July 12th. 3 o'clock for the ribbon cutting, 4 o'clock for the banquet.
I've attended it before. It's a very nice event.
It is. Some sort of good eats. And you can climb the tower.
I'm going to take pictures. I want to see, no, I don't like heights. So I want you up there. And, my banker's here. He wouldn't let me get up that high anyway. He's afraid I'd default on my loans. So, all right, we'll move on to public hearings. The first is an ordinance to amend Chapter 86 Land Development Regulations, proposed additions, Trevilian Station Agriculture and Forestal District. Maggie Breakville. Miss Breakville.
How are you tonight, Mr.
Fine, sir.
Chair?
How are you? Fine, ma'am. How are you?
So last time I was here, y'all asked me for some statistics. So if it's okay with you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to talk about the amount of acreages that have been applied for since since December of 25. So is that okay with you, Mr. Chair?
Absolutely.
Great, thank you. So we've received 21 applications for Ag and Forestal District since December of 25. That's totaling 8,076.048 acres. Tonight, we will consider 1,797 acres. You have already approved 3,078.5 acres, which would leave roughly 5,000 acres remaining for you to see in the next few months. So this is applications that will go to Ag Forestal Planning Commission from December to August. We're still accepting applications. I actually have 2 more meetings this week to hopefully get new applications. And when you break that down, the average application size is about 384.5 acres. So that's what we've seen just since I've come on.
Amazing. It's been a really busy time, a lot of fun, and we're really thankful for these individuals. So I just wanted to highlight that for all of you. I do want to point out that in 1998, when they created the South Anna, Patrick Henry, and Green Springs Ag Forestal District, that was the largest amount we ever got in a year, and it was 9,693, most of that being Green Springs. So we are just 1,618 acres from surpassing that total, to have the most acres ever in a year. So thank you all for your support, and thank you to the citizens for participating in the program. So now I can move into the application. So our first application is for Trevilian Station. The applicants are Charlotte Morford and Hooves and Paws Animal Rescue. There are 2 parcels zoned A1 totaling 53.833 acres. The proposed district addition adjoins the southernmost portion of a qualifying portion of the Trevilian Station Ag Forestal District. The parcel is located east of Route 636, northwest of Route 613, and south of Route 22 in the Patrick Henry voting district. This area of the county is designated rural by the comprehensive plan, and the subject parcels are used for pasture, horticulture, crops, and livestock. So I can stand for questions at this time.
Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Brigden? Thank you, ma'am. I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone here from the public which would wish to address the board on this public hearing? All right, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Mr. Barnes?
So move.
Second.
It's properly moved and seconded that we approve this amendment, adding this to the Trevilian Station Ag and Forestal District. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is an ordinance amending Chapter 86 Land Development Regulations, proposed addition to the Shelton's Mill Agriculture and Forestal District.
So for the Shelton's Mill Agriculture and Forestal District, we have one landowner, Sidney Barbie Cox. It's 2 parcels zoned A1, A2. It's 157.49 acres. The proposed district addition is located 3.75 miles from the existing Shelton's Mill Ag Forestal District. The parcels are located along the Louisa County, Hanover County line on Route 604, north of Route 610 and south of Johnson Mill Road. The parcels are located in the Mountain Road and Jackson voting districts. They are designated rural by the comprehensive plan, and the uses on the parcel are timber and crops, and both of these were recommended from Ag Forestal and Planning Commission.
Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Breakville?
I do have a question. The distance between these parcels being 3.75 miles, that's sort of unusual. I hadn't seen that much. What my question is, that has no impact on the parcels that are in between these parcels that are so far removed
No,
from
sir.
the court? So,
So it would come under the agricultural and forestry significant language under the statute, which takes distance out of it. Mr. Cox didn't have enough to make a core, so we're connecting him to the next closest district, that being the only district as of right now on this side of the county. We do have an application you'll see in a few months for another district in the Mountain Road voting district closer to him, but at this point, that was all that we had when he applied. There will be no impact, though, on any other parcels.
well, that's, my question is not on that parcel or immediately surrounding him. But I know the question I'm gonna get is if you have a satellite, few parcels out here, and then you have the core, the main part of it, 3.7 miles away. Is there, and I think I know the answer, but I'm looking for clarification. There's no impact to landowners that are in between these groups of parcels.
That is correct.
Okay, they're not impacted in any way.
There's
in
no
that
negative impact.
Exactly.
No, there is no negative impact on anyone.
Key would maybe a positive impact because then they could qualify to be in district because they are between the parcels.
Yes, that is
No
correct.
negative impact.
That's what I was looking for.
Maybe perceived negative impact is a better word.
It's a bridge. It's an opportunity for you to help her get more land in the Ag and Forestal District. It's an opportunity, Mr. Bartlett.
Fine.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, we'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone here that wishes to address the board on this public hearing? All right, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that we approve this amendment to the Shelton Mills Agricultural and Forestal District. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is an ordinance amending Chapter 86 Land Development, proposed addition to the Indian Creek Agriculture and Forestal District.
So for Indian Creek, we have landowners Brandy Cox Douglas, Lindsay Cox, Sydney Barbie Cox, and SB Cox Inc. It's 12 parcels zoned A1, A2. It's 1,332.939 acres. The proposed district addition consists of 2 separate parcels, a northern and southern parcel, both located in the Cuckoo voting district. The northern parcel adjoins the northernmost corner of the existing Indian Creek Ag Forestal District. The parcels are located east of Route 699 and along the western side of Route 522. The southern portion adjoins the southernmost portion of the Indian Creek Ag Forestal District. These parcels are located west of Route 522, along Route 699, northeast and south of the South Anna River. This area is deemed rural by the comprehensive plan, and the subject parcels are used for cattle, pasture, timber, and crops. Both were recommended by the Ag Forestal and Planning Commission.
Yes, sir.
In the actual Indian Creek AFD, do the Coxes or the Cox affiliations own the purple piece there?
They don't own the current district, if
Okay.
that's what you're asking. They own surrounding it,
That's
and
what I
they're
see
putting
on the map.
into the district,
Good.
yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone here that would wish to address the board on this public hearing? All right, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. And properly moved and seconded that we approve amending the Indian Creek Ag and Forestal District. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next is an ordinance amending Chapter 86 Land Development, proposed addition to the Gold Mine Agricultural Creek and Forestal District.
For the Gold Mine Agriculture, or for the Gold Mine Creek Agriculture and Forestal District, we have landowners James and Catherine Kane. There's 8 parcels zoned A1. It's 253.626 acres. The proposed district addition adjoins the northernmost portion of an existing qualifying portion of the Gold Mine Creek Agriculture and Forestal District. These parcels are located along Route 669, north of Route 613, south of Route 651 in the Mineral Voting District. This part of the county is deemed rural. In the comprehensive plan, the uses are cattle, crops, hay, pasture, and timber, and the application was recommended by both Ag Forestal and the Planning Commission.
Any questions for Ms. Brinkville? I'll open the public hearing when we come back. Since I can't make a motion, I would like to make it clear that I'm in favor of this addition. I open the public hearing. Is there anyone here that would wish to address the board on amending the Gold Mine Creek Ag and Forestal District? All right, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that we approve the addition to the Gold Mine Creek Ag and Forestal District. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, ma'am. You're doing a great job. We appreciate the job you're doing. The next and final public hearing is an ordinance amending Chapter 86 Land Development Regulations to add Section 86-44 conditional use permits for electric transmission facilities. Mr. Kuhn.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. Starting on packet page 197, you will see all the information, the resolutions, as well as the memo explaining the use of the CUP. We recently adopted an addendum to the comprehensive plan, which is the intent behind the electric transmission lines and the policy that we would like to see moving forward. This is now an opportunity for the county to utilize these standards when reviewing any process or implementation that would not be the transmission lines themselves. I'll stand ready to answer any questions.
Can you tell me what the size of a 69 kV line is? Because that's where the threshold is.
That was one, a member of the Planning Commission who also has experience.
Mr. Disasway?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Said that there is a very low likelihood that a 69 kV line would be used as a transmission line, but for some smaller entities, that may be something that could be utilized.
So Rappahannock built one between 2 substations in our district, and it went behind and came through. You don't happen to know the size of something like that? Is that transmission? Would that count as substation to substation? That would count as transmission. Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah,
So it's
good
it
question.
goes behind our house and comes back up there to right there to Anthonytown.
Yeah.
And cuts back over to Hanover and goes that way. And I'm just curious, what is 69 kV? I'm not opposed to it. I'm just trying to understand where the threshold is.
I mean, what was explained to us is that there's a very small likelihood that a 69 kV line would be used for transmission, but if there was a situation that 69 kV was used and then they had a substation or any of the other equipment along that route, that would also require the CUP. So it's better to start lower to make sure we included the substations and everything,
Makes sense.
even though it may not be likely. And I didn't disagree with them, and the planning commission felt that that was an appropriate recommendation. So that's why we switched it from the 115 to 69 kV.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Woodward?
Mr. Kuhn, I had a couple of people question me this afternoon. They were planning on coming tonight because they thought we were doing a CUP. And I explained to them, no, the only thing about a CUP is we're looking to add to the comprehensive plan CUP process for transmission lines, that type of thing.
So this, we did already include the addendum in the comprehensive plan. This is now adding it to the zoning code. So if REC or Dominion or any other electric provider wanted to come in for a substation or transfer anything that they would need outside of the transmission lines that are approved by the SEC, they would need to abide by the rules that are established in this amendment today.
Thank you.
Would it be fair? No, I'll say it and see if you agree. I'm not going to ask your opinion. This is another tool that we're putting into our ordinances to help us with the Valley Link project and projects like Valley Link so that the county, again, continues to have a seat at the table. Would that be a fair statement?
Correct. This would address any electric transmission infrastructure that's not outright approved by the SEC or FERC. So anything below that, which the local government has some type of authority over, this gives us another tool in the toolbox.
Any other? Yes, sir.
If nobody else has. The fee schedule for CUPs, that's based on value of what they're looking to do?
No, we have a calculation where it would be acreage, employment. There's a couple of different factors that go into what it would be, but value's not one of
So
them.
the amount of neighbors that they have and how many mailings you got is a calculation in there too.
There's a lot of factors that are included in that, but value itself is not one that we utilize.
Thank you, Mr. Coon. All right, I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone here that would wish to address the board regarding this ordinance which would amend the land use regulations? All right, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the board. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move to approve it.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that we amend Chapter 86, adding Sections 86-44. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Barnes?
So move.
Been properly moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.